Now we will solve one example of frame. In this example, this frame element is subjected to distributed load, whereas this element is subjected to 2-point load. We can discretize the domain in following way. As there is point load at this point and this point, we have to consider two nodes at these 2 points. So, we are considering this is one element having node 1, 2. There is another node at this point, node 3, and this is node 4. So, this is our second element and this is our third element. For this frame problem, we at least require these 3 elements. We cannot avoid it because we have point load at this 2 point. We can use further fine mesh. Now I am keeping my origin at this point. So if we write the coordinates of the node, for node 1 it is 0 0, for node 2 it is 0 L2, for node 3 it is L1 by 2 and L2 plus L3 by 2, and for node 4 it is L1 L2 plus L3. Now this point is the midpoint of this entire element. Also for frame problems, there are 3 degrees of freedom associated with each node. Therefore, for ith node, associated global degree of freedom are 3i minus 2, 3i minus 1 and 3i. Now let us see the MATLAB program to solve this frame problem. So this is the element stiffness matrix function, where E is Young modulus, A is area, this is area moment of inertia, and this is the nodal coordinate . So for one arbitrary element, this x vector in that function consists of x1 y1, which are x and y coordinate of local node 1, and x2 y2 are there in third and fourth element of this x vector, which are xy coordinate of node 2. Now, this distance is Lx, x intercept, this distance is y intercept, and this is phi. This is the length of the element LE. So, this cos phi L can be obtained from Lx by Le, and M can be obtained from Ly by Le. And while finding this Lx is always x2 minus x1 and Ly is always local y2 minus y1. Hence, we obtain corresponding L and M by choice of node 1 and node 2. Now, if we see the MATLAB code, so this is our x intercept, x2, that is third element of this x vector, minus first element of this x vector. And this is y intercept, fourth element minus second element. So, we get this L, M, that is cos phi and sin phi. After that, this is our element stiffness matrix in local frame for the bar element. So, here you can see AE by LE. So, that is corresponding to bar element 1 minus 1. This semicolon means next row minus 1 1. So, this is that 2 cross 2 stiffness matrix, and KE beam is nothing but the stiffness matrix for the beam element in that local frame. After that, we get the combined element stiffness matrix for the frame element. Here, the degree of freedom corresponding to the bar element is 1, that is u1 prime, and 4, that is u2 prime. So, the stiffness matrix bar entry is in 1 4 location. This is C minus C minus C C. If you see the MATLAB program, first I make one 6 cross 6 0 matrix, then the bar entry KE bar is entered in 1 4th location. This 1 colon 3 colon 4 means 1 2 4 with increment 3, that is 1 and 4, which is essentially entering this C minus C minus C C in the combined stiffness matrix. And 2 3 5 6, they are respective beam degree of freedom V1 prime theta 1 2 3, V2 prime theta 2 5 6, and respective K beam are entered in 2, 3, 5, 6 location of the combined matrix. This is implemented in this step 2 to 3, 5 to 6. So, this is your KP, that is K prime combined 6 cross 6 stiffness matrix for a frame element in local frame, this matrix KP. After that, we have constructed this Q matrix in the MATLAB program. You can see here this 6 cross 6 matrix, that LM. Now, in global XY frame, our stiffness matrix is this KE, that is Q transpose K prime Q. We already constructed K prime and Q. So, we get the KE with this relation, that is KE Q prime, this prime is corresponding to transpose K prime Q, K prime already constructed. Now, so thus we have seen construction of this element stiffness matrix in global XY frame. Now, we will see the construction of element load vector. As I mentioned, if we have distributed load, then we have to first construct this Fe prime, that is the nodal contribution of that distributed load for that element. This we have to calculate at local level. So, this element load vector is calculated here, where this Q transverse is corresponding to that distributed load in transverse direction. So, you remember for beam element, for uniformly distributed load, that element load vector is QLE by 2, QLE square by 12, QLE by 2 minus QLE square by 12. So, this is your FE beam. Also, if you have distributed load in axial direction, then for bar element it can be shown the component is distributed by half. So, Q axial into LE is the total load in that element, and that is equally distributed between two nodes, because in bar element we have linear shape function. So, again the distributed load for beam is entering in the degree of freedom 2, 3, 5, 6. You remember those degree of freedom are corresponding to beam, and 1 and 4 are corresponding to bar. So, this FEP is nothing but the element load vector in local frame, that is Fe prime. This entry, because distributed load always will be given in local frame. So, it is always advisable you have to calculate that distributed load part in local frame. After that you have to pre-multiply with Q to get this components of that Fe prime in global frame. You have to pre-multiply with this Q. We have already explained this. So, here you can see that transformation matrix is constructed in the same way, where L and M are calculated as I explained for element stiffness matrix. In this part, and we construct Q here. If you see, in Q matrix there are most of the entries which are 0, only 1, 2 and 4, 5 consist of this matrix LM, M minus L. So, 1, 2 and 4, 5, and for rotation degree of freedom, that 3, 3 and 6, 6 consisting of 1, because theta 1 and theta 1 prime remain same. So, that is entered here. So, this is our Q matrix. So, finally, we get our Fe with this Q prime Fep. Thus, we get element load vector for distributed load. Now, for first element, we have this nodal coordinate 0 0 and 0 L2, and also our first element is subjected to this uniformly distributed load Q, which is 500 Newton per meter. So, here I am denoting by W, which is 500. Because there is uniformly distributed load, there will be some element load vector calculation. The functions LE stiff and LE load return us element stiffness matrix and element load vector for element 1. Now, for element 2, so our coordinate vector will be 0 L2, then L1 by 2 and L2 plus L3 by 2. So, this is our coordinate vector x2, and we calculate element stiffness matrix K2. Now, this K1, K2, F1 all are in global XY frame, because required transformation we did in the function itself. Similarly, for element 3, for the nodal coordinate vector x3, we get element stiffness matrix K3. So, these are the element stiffness matrix for element 1 and element 2. Now, for first element, our associated node is node 1 and node 2, and as we have mentioned, we have 3 degree of freedom per node. For ith node, these are the associated degree of freedom. So, for first node, the associated degree of freedom are 1, 2, 3, and for second node, it is 4, 5, 6, using 3i minus 2, 3i minus 1 and 3i. So, we assign those global degree of freedom number over the element stiffness matrix. Similarly, for second element having node 2 and node 3, the degree of freedom will be 4, 5, 6 and 7, 8, 9. We assign those numbers on element stiffness matrix, and for third element between node 3 and node 4, these are associated degree of freedom. Now we do our usual assembly operation. Then this is our global stiffness matrix. If you see, this term in 7th row and 8th column is obtained for element 2. This is the 7th global degree of freedom and 8th global degree of freedom. This term, that is Ke2 4, 5 and also Ke3 1, 2, that is also the same degree of freedom. If we add these two terms, I denoted by this blue bracket, then finally we have this term in global K. This is our usual assembly operation. Now if we see the MATLAB program, you can see the assembly of stiffness matrix are done in these steps, where this 4 to 9 are the global address for K2, that is second element stiffness matrix 4 to 9, and we add this K2 in this global locations. Similarly for K3, the global address are 7 to 12. Now for load vector, only element 1 has some distributed load, which is calculated in this F1. So the location of this F1 in global load vector is 1 to 6. So we assign this in this global load vector F. So this is our that F1, these are the global degree of freedom. Other than this distributed load, we also have 2 point loads. So as we have mentioned, point loads and moment should be taken care at the global load vector with respect to global reference frame. So here at node 2, it is in negative y direction. So this 2p is associated with global degree of freedom 3i minus 1 for I equal to 2, that is 5. So it will be added to the global location 5, and because it is in negative y direction, so it will be minus 2p. Similarly, the 4p, that will be for I equal to 3. It is also in y direction, so 3i minus 1 will give us 8. Therefore, this load will be added to the global position 8 of the global load vector, and this is also in negative y direction. If we have point load inclined direction, then we have to take x and y component and we have to add those components in proper degree of freedom position of the global load vector. So, for P equal to 1000 Newton, now if we write our global load vector, then the first position will be this. We are just adding this 1 to 6, second will be 0, third will be, fourth will be. Now, in the fifth location, we have minus 2p, that is minus 2000 for P equal to 1000 Newton. Existing F5 is 0, so it will be minus 2000, and F6 will be directly this. Now, other than this, there is only one more point load, that is at F8, which is minus 4000. So, F7 will be 0, F8 will be minus 4000. The remaining degree of freedom position, there will be 0, that is F9 to F12. We have total 12 degree of freedom. So, this is our global load vector. Now, if we see the MATLAB implementation, so in the 5th and 8th position, we add minus 2p and minus 4p. Now, we have to impose the boundary condition. So, here node 1 and node 4 are fixed. So, associated degree of freedom are 1, 2, 3 and 10, 11, 12. So, all these degree of freedom will be 0 for fixed boundary condition. Therefore, we have to eliminate 1, 2, 3 and 10, 11, 12, this row and this column. Then we have the entry from 4th to 9th row and 4th to 9th column in the reduced stiffness matrix. Similarly, in load vector, only 4 to 9 will be active, and our boundary conditions are 0 boundary condition. So, there will be no change in load vector. So, this is our reduced equation, where active degree of freedom are U4 to U9. In MATLAB, we impose the boundary condition here. We take 4th row to 9th row and 4th column to 9th column. Then with inbuilt inverse function, we solve this reduced system of equation to get our active degree of freedom U4 to U9. After that, we append the prescribed degree of freedom to the solved U4 to U9 at this step. So, U1 to U3, then we have U4 to U9 in U reduce, then U10, U11, U12 are also 0. Now, if we do KUN, where K is the original 12 cross 12 global stiffness matrix, then in the degree of freedom position of 1, 2, 3 and 10, 11, 12, we get the respective reaction force. So, after solving, we have this solution where U1 to U3 are 0, then U4 to U9 we get from solving, and after that U10 to U12 are also 0. If you do this KWN, then this your reaction force at node 1 in x direction, this is reaction force at node 1 in y direction, and this is the reaction moment at the fixed support of node 1. The similar reaction components at node 4 corresponding to this 10th, 11th and 12th position. Now, let us summarize the MATLAB implementation of the frame problem. So, we have this LStiff which return the element stiffness matrix in global XY frame. So, we combine the bar stiffness and beam stiffness in proper position of the frame element stiffness matrix Ke prime. So, this is your element stiffness matrix in the local axial and transverse frame. After that, with this relation we get the element stiffness matrix in global XY frame. This Q matrix is developed from the coordinate of the two node. We calculate this L and M from the coordinates, and after that we construct this Q matrix. Finally, this function return stiffness matrix Ke, which is element stiffness matrix in global XY frame. The other function LE load calculate the element load vector if there is distributed load. For distributed load in frame problem, we have to calculate this element load vector Fe prime. Then we have to do this transformation to get our Fe, which are the components in global reference frame. So, this function return that Fe in global reference frame. We use these two functions LStiff and LE load in our main program to calculate element stiffness matrix for all the three elements. There is distributed load only for element 1. So, we calculate Fe1 only. After that, we do our assembly operation where we add the element stiffness matrix in the respective global degree of freedom position of the global K. These 2 point load which are in negative y direction are taken care at the global level. We add these point loads in the proper position of global F. This is done here. After that, we take care of the fixed support at node 1 and node 4. All degree of freedom at these two nodes are 0 because our support is fixed. So, our active degree of freedom are 4 to 9. So, we impose this boundary condition and we get our reduced stiffness matrix from 4 to 9th row and 4 to 9th column. Then we get the reduced equation. We solve that reduced 6 cross 6 equation to find the active degree of freedom solution at the node 2 and node 3. After that, we do the post processing to get the reaction force at the fixed support.